Okay, Imran.
All right. So let's go to the series just to give you an overview of what we've done so far in the last 2 weeks leading up to today. And we've worked our way through all aspects of business challenges and disruption that we have foreseen is causing in your organization. You are on a digital forwarders journey, and in the previous sessions, we highlighted the disruptions that you are facing right now. I'm going to recap them really briefly, and we'll just go clockwise. We started with introspection. That was part of our first session. And we moved to CRM, where we discussed innovation and BI tools for agility in decision making. Last week, we discussed the challenges to the industry in operations and also how to address them by retooling your workforce to utilize workflows and technology. So finally today, we will be talking about marketing, which is an extension of the introspection, sales, and CRM journey that we've been on. And, we see that as the biggest challenge right now, because recovering and growing your business is key. I think this is on everyone's mind, and everyone can agree with me on that, I hope. So this is why we planned this session, to hopefully give you some really actionable tools and insights that you can use even from tomorrow. As we are all aware, COVID-19 has disrupted every part of life and also work. And social distancing is going to continue for the next year, or at least until a vaccine is found. And so we've seen that sales teams can no longer go out and perform their functions in the normal capacity in which they would have done. And existing business revenue is affected across the board. I know Maersk posted positive Q1, but they've also anticipated a 20 to 25% drop in Q2. So this is something that's going to continue. And therefore, we've noticed there's a gap that's being created in the sales approach. And the whole session, the next few minutes, we're going to talk about how this gap can be bridged. Ikram, can you share the current sales and marketing methodology in the industry right now, just to give an overview of where the industry is at?
Yes, Imran. So hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And I'd like to start by sharing 3 examples of where we feel the sales teams are at today in relationship selling, and what we feel is the norm. I'd like to introduce 2 guests to help me out on my segment. The first being Chris Murphy, and the other gentleman being Sabri Amunuddin. I'm not sure if Sabri has joined us in the middle of this. Imran, do we see him on the guest list?
Not yet. Maybe we can start with Chris.
Okay. Hi, Chris.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Getting hairier by the hour.
Firstly, I'd like to thank you for accepting our invite on short notice. We were doing this session and segment, and we thought that it would be good to have some industry experts sharing their insights as well from different markets. So, like I said, I'll have to go away from the script a little bit and direct some questions to you related to these 3 different types of sales techniques being used. The first one being relationship selling, the second reference-based selling, and the third to boost revenues is steps taken to recruit new salespeople. So can I, if you would, before I getting into the question, if you could please help us with your background and just share with the audience what you've been doing lately.
Okay, so my company is Tide Global Limited. We're based in the UK. I have a predominantly freight forwarding background, pretty much since I left school, which is something like 22 years ago now. But I have recently, at the start of this year, opened our own warehouse processing facility in Essex in the UK, which is a good location, equal distance from London Gateway Port, which is growing and developing, and Felixstowe Port in the opposite direction. They're both about half an hour away from our warehouse. For the last couple of years, I've been working with a company that specialises in the Amazon supply chain, predominantly FBA traffic, where an intermediary warehouse is required for processing and offering storage and fulfillment solutions for e-commerce products. So that's the background. What I'm interested in developing is a localized e-commerce solution, which is specifically targeted at my catchment area where I live and where the warehouse is based. It's been a plan that's been on the cards for a couple of years anyway, but the current situation with the virus has kind of really accelerated the need for this kind of solution where local communities are able to take control of their own international supply chain, bargain with their own buying power rather than going through centralized Amazon's, Tesco.com, online supermarkets, etc. Yeah, so that's us.
Right, great. Thanks for the background, Chris. I think that gives an audience a clear picture into your background and leads to my first question is, the difference mainly between the relationship selling chart here, which has 11 steps, and the reference selling is also around 11 steps, but there is a fundamental difference in the two, where the second one, reference-based selling, short circuits the closure of the sales cycle, predominantly being around using references of the market and existing clients to get a referral and a relationship established. Considering comparing that with the traditional one where you wouldn't use a reference, you'd have to go through the whole journey of getting in touch with the client and building the relation and then moving on. Considering today's environment with COVID, do you see an impact in either of these two strategies today? And if you do, what would you be doing to overcome this?
Yes, I mean, I would say that, relationship selling is going to be a challenge at the moment. Building relationships, for finding yourself in places like-minded people, while we're all stuck at home, it's not really practical. And I would say that in the current situation, my focus has been very much on targeting contacts that I've already gone through that process with, that I already have a relationship with. Jump into the kind of reference selling approach, and using my existing contacts, my existing customers to find new opportunities and new customers, where just a referral is good enough to kind of verify the integrity of the services that I can provide. Okay.
So I'll come back to that question, and I'll question you a little bit more in terms of how you're planning on using referrals and how you're creating those referrals in the next slide. Really quickly going on to the next one, the last box, steps taken by recruiting sales. As I said a little bit earlier, it's generally used by managements and senior sales teams to boost revenue. It involves mostly poaching good salespeople from the market through headhunting. In today's current environment, do you look at or seeing that as a feasible strategy to counter the current low volumes and revenues companies are facing?
So developing new and innovative solutions, you mean?
I mean, purely picking new sales staff to an organization who probably are focused on the pharma retail, or some of the goods that are necessities. There are some competitors that are focused and dedicated to it. Sometimes a natural step is to go and poach somebody from the market and try and bring that vertical in. Yes, so they might already have an existing vertical as pharma, but maybe to boost that revenue, would you encourage recruiting new salespeople to boost revenue?
Absolutely. I think now is a great time for recruiting salespeople. And actually, I think smaller businesses can take advantage of a higher quality of personnel in the jobs market. I think it's a shaky time for us all, but I think we're going to lose a few of the big players this year, which obviously means that there's there's a lot of opportunities for the small to medium size operation to pick up, and I think there will be salespeople available as a result of what's happening at the moment.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'll move into the marketing area. We've talked about sales in a bit of detail, and I've just put up a few points with related to some of the marketing initiatives done in the market. Again, this is from my experience being in predominantly India and the Asia and in the Indian subcontinent. We've listed down about 5 of them, where the first one is that the marketing would be done by an existing salesperson or sales team with the support of admin or maybe a corporate division. Then you have another option of already having LinkedIn and Facebook accounts for companies running. You'll have staff having their private accounts, again on social media. Another very popular one is to do gifts and give printed material during New Year and festive seasons. And the final one where I met you was at events and hosting. So these I have noticed as the trend in logistics and the way they do marketing. I would say they give a very small percentage of budgeting to the Facebook and LinkedIn of company accounts. Would you agree with me on that?
Well, in terms of budget, I would say social media is small, but in terms of time that I spend generating business and promoting the business, it's quite significant.
Okay. And how about the one with hosting events and private socials, meaning events of the company, and you've got airlines and shipping lines hosting events versus network agents having that? Do you see that as something which will continue into this year and a place to do marketing?
No, I mean, that's got to be non-existent this year. I think we've got to get used to the fact that I mean, I've always been a big networker, as you know it, Cram. I've been been involved in a lot of different networks over the years in different capacities. And my plans this year were to go to the Far East in March for the what I call the spring conference season, which usually kicks off with WCA, and there's a lot of other network conferences going on around that time of year in China and Southeast Asia. So that was my business plan at the beginning of the year, and it was quite integral really to my business plan. And I've had to really adjust my focus, because I knew that with our new warehousing facility, I'm building this business up, and at the moment, I've got a lot of overheads and not quite at the point where I'm covering it all. So, business development was a big part of my plan for the year. I knew that if I could get to China, visit some networking events, then that would accelerate considerably the amount of throughput that I could expect kind of from the middle of this year onwards. Unfortunately, that's not been possible. So I've had to completely readjust, how I'm going to approach that.
Right. And is that the one which will then lead you to where you mentioned earlier, you've been generating some business on LinkedIn and contacts through that? Is that going to be the main route now for social media, websites? Is that something which you'll be looking at now to
Definitely social media, definitely social media. And I think, you know, where I've previously, you know, I'm fortunate, you know, that I've spent a lot of years developing my international network. So it's there and it's ready for me to tap into. The plan was to continue to develop and grow that international network, and I am to a certain degree. But really, my whole focus now has been narrowed to a much smaller catchment area. So I'm now targeting smaller companies and more companies that are local to me, where I can spread the word quickly. Is the key. So I'm kind of really drawing on whilst I've got that base of, you know, my international network that I can draw on. What I've never really done is spent a lot of time trying to develop business in my own county, in my own region of the UK, and that's really what I'm focusing on now. Because by you know, simply by word of mouth and through social media, I can spread my message to a lot more people a lot quicker.
Okay. All right. Any last takeaways for the audience? So I thank you, Chris, for sharing your insights and situation. So I thought it's relevant that somebody from the industry speaks about some of our observations in that, and from what I gather, we're somewhat on the same page on that. So any last thoughts or takeaways for the audience in today's situation from a sales and marketing point of view?
I think right at the moment, it's all about sales and marketing. You know, we can't be doing a great deal else. You know, and if we're sitting there twiddling our thumbs, you know, waiting for the situation to pass or whatever, you know, this is a great time. You know, I don't think I've ever done as much business development in such a short space of time as I have done in the last month or so. And it's great. The good thing is that, you know, as a company owner, you know, you're always on the hop. You know, you're always selling. You know, you're always trying to bring new business in. Trying to bed that business in, set up the operations and the systems and everything. You're trying to do everything at once. And what I've found is that I'm able to, yeah, the quality of my business development activities is enhanced because I'm able to map the process out as it should be. You know, I'm able to manage the customer journey in a much more structured way, and now is a great time for getting projects off the ground. You know, any ideas that people have been having, oh, I want to get into this, you know, we should be doing that. Now's the time to, you know, because you've got time not only to have the idea, not only to let other people know, but you've got the time to really set it up properly, and make sure it's you know, it's something that can represent your company well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chris, for the insight. And once again, thank you for accepting the invite on short notice. Really appreciate it. And
Pleasure.
Thank you for sharing your insights.
Pleasure. All the best.
All right. Thank you. Imra, I'll pass over to you. I think Chris has shared his insights. And I think from what we prepared as the first two slides, it's very much in sync with the thought process in the logistics industry in current reality. And the future is about capitalizing on existing relationships, that being the takeaway which Chris mentioned, and it's just about how we're going to do that. So I'll leave you to continue the session.
Yes, so I'd like to just point out some of the challenges Chris mentioned. I think he said that building relationships is a big challenge. Recruiting salespeople was a strategy he recommended. And networks and conference was something he really planned on doing, but unable to do. So keeping that in view, we've actually analyzed a series of possibilities for business development and growth. And we decided that the two most important steps you can take right now are to pivot your sales. And by this, I mean to refocus your sales strategy by incorporating marketing. And I'll be talking about how you can do that in the next few minutes, in the next few slides. And the second part is to extend your digital footprint. So when you think about pivoting to realign your sales strategy, we see that the traditional sales solution has got weaknesses and it's unable to carry your business through these downturns because one, you're experiencing disruption, and two, your customers are also experiencing disruption. And when we talk about realigning sales strategy, this does not mean that you no longer need a sales team, but rather it means that you need to create more synergy between your teams within your organization. This is something we talked about in the previous sessions as well when we talked about silos, but really creating synergy between sales and marketing can bring profound impact on your business to see growth from a minimum of 50% all the way to 150 to 100% as per studies done by LinkedIn and also other market researchers. I know LinkedIn may not be the most credible study since they're propagating the same philosophy, but the numbers are true and valid. So, digital marketing is fairly new to companies in the logistics industry, and I'd like to take you through a short journey in the next few slides to give you an overview of what marketing really entails and how you can do it in your company within the logistics industry. So the first is to think of it as a plan, a business plan, like just the same way you would think of a business plan. So think strategically and see if you can form a sales team. If you're a smaller organization, this is something you can spearhead by yourself as well, just by working with your sales team. So one of the biggest issues is budget, and that we're very aware of. But for this, the solution is to really look at marketing as an investment. It's not really an expense, especially if you can measure it against your return on investment and your acquisition costs, for which measurables do exist. So just the same way as you would reallocate your capital or funds from a manufacturing industry point of view, because that's the whole goal, right? Like even last week, Martin talked about that, to keep your cost per unit as low as possible. So this is similar. And you can do this for sales, and the benefits are therefore to look at sales, marketing, and CRM as part of a cohesive cycle, and change your mindset from looking at it as an expense to really seeing it as an investment. And investing in ad spend and retargeting is something we recommend you do. It may seem costly initially, but overall, if you divide it against the revenue growth you're going to see or the cost per acquisition, the cost isn't that high. Some of the avenues we identified as where money can come from is by reallocating your entertainment, travel, and events budgets, and even your networking budget. These are parts of your budget you would have already put in place and hopefully have some revenue available because you're unable to travel to your networking events, etc., etc. And just to give you a correlation of what the marketing plan is like and what it entails, it's very similar to an audit, a financial audit that you would do to your company. So the first part is to perform a marketing sprint, and from an IT point of view, the marketing sprint is similar to a gap analysis. So I hope this has sort of given you an idea of how to link a marketing sprint into your organization in the very same way you would think of as a financial audit or a gap analysis if you were in IT. And I've just done a cycle to show you what the sprint journey looks like. So this is a core part of marketing, and we recommend all clients to go through this sprint cycle. And what this enables you to do is to really think about your product offering, know your customer, your customer's customer. This lets you know where you can innovate. And a good analogy would be, when you fish, instead of fishing with a big fishing net, take a spear and then target the fish you want and just go for that. So it's very similar to that. when you perform a marketing sprint, it enables you to identify which fish you want to go after. And also then you can innovate and develop new products in line with that. And it allows you to streamline your solutions. Because hopefully, I hope that during this time, you've had some time to ponder and reflect on all aspects of your business, and sometimes some parts of it don't perform as well as we intend to. And now is the time to cut that down, and your marketing sprint will really help you refocus your business. Large companies do this often, and that's why you see a lot of innovation. Smaller companies do too. It's very doable. So this is the first part that we really recommend you doing when you realign your sales strategy. Get your salesperson and other key members together and perform this sprint. And what this will do, and what this really will strengthen, is your sales and marketing pipeline. So it sort of creates a cyclical process between sales and marketing and creates that internal synergy between the departments. And I hope that by this stage you could have set up a small team to start this. There are, of course, like, help is available from a design perspective or even a sprint perspective. There are companies that can help you do that, SFL being one of them. But this is still something you can do within your small team or even by yourself. Just get one more person from your sales team and get it going, And
Sorry, Imran.
Sales and marketing. Sorry,
Imran,
is it possible to mute?
Yeah, can you please mute one participant, please? Yeah.
Sure. Okay, thank you. So what we're trying to get you to achieve is to get sales and marketing to work as an orchestration, parts of the same symphony to give you that music that you really want. And LinkedIn is a great example of how you can do this. I'm just going to go through the sales funnel with you, and marketing funnel. This is just to show you what your customer journey would look like and at which parts marketing would need to be responsible and also sales would need to be responsible. So you can see the first two steps are mostly marketing's responsibility. But having said that, it's something that's done in line with sales. And I will touch on that in a bit of detail in the next few slides. But yeah, I hope you can see a good overview of the different stages of customer acquisition and also which parts traditionally fall into each role. So I'd really recommend using LinkedIn. Like, this is something a lot of companies, bigger companies have started doing, but we've done a lot of market study and realized that small and medium-sized businesses are not leveraging it in the same way as they should be. And I think from my understanding, even big companies can still improve. And so I've just outlined 3 key steps. Part of synergy for marketing and sales in LinkedIn, it's a little complicated, but I think that if you focus on these 3 key steps, you can definitely get the traction going and you can see improvements in your revenue and your business. And the first is to sort of plan a framework for what is known as accounts-based marketing strategy. And so you need to identify your key accounts, work with your sales team to understand what and who your leads are and narrow which accounts you're going to go after, right? And then what this allows you to do is make sure that all your content is streamlined to provide solutions to these customers. And when you do that, your customer journey really has a connection. There's top of mind recall, there's brand connection. So doing this really helps you connect with who you're going for and showcases your innovations as well, because you can put up your posts, your thought leadership in areas that are relevant to the customer you're targeting. It's a little bit of work in that if you're targeting different customers, you'll need to come up with different solutions in how you target them, but it really pays off. It can lead up to a 50-60% increase in customer acquisition. And articles and paid ads are also really great. So this is how you build an image as a thought leader. I think at this stage in business, especially in logistics, it's really important to think about how you can connect, right? Because this is a B2B platform. It's very different to B2C models that we're used to seeing in Instagram. And as a B2B, I think one of the main sort of blocks in your process is thinking about how you can connect with another organization. But it's important to understand that this organization is led by individuals, and you can really, really create a bond through social media. You don't need to network or be in a networking event. You can use platforms like LinkedIn to do that. And the second part is to build a community. And by that, I mean within your organization. So now that you have put in a process for how your sales and marketing are going to work together to form a strategic plan and target the customers that you want to go after, and how you're going to then create cohesion between your marketing strategy or what you are posting to your client and what they're looking for. The next step is to boost this. So how can you create these relationships, you know, and these sort of the relationship marketing process, like sales process, how can you do that through social media? And one of the best ways to do this within your organization is to get your employees on board, because you know, all sales members can then have targeted posts according to the clients they're servicing and approaching. If they've said something about, you know, a trip that they and they're a little bummed about not being able to go on it, you can post something back or reply on their comments box, you know, and just keep it relevant and humane, and that'll take you far in terms of building that first connection. And what it also does, it allows you, when you get your employees to participate in building a community on LinkedIn, it showcases the talent investment that you have made in your company. And like I said before, it adds a human face that makes it relatable. And the third, so metrics and data is something we very strongly believe in. And this is something I think is important to do from a marketing perspective. You know, always measure your performance, measure your sales. So you can always go back to your marketing sprint and tweak it. And the metrics and data will allow you then to realign and retarget. It will point out areas of rectification, similar to how BI tools would help you see your operations. And your metrics of evaluation then allows you to see the impact of your marketing, yeah? And so there are built-in measurables. You don't need a third-party software to do this. There are great tools like Hootsuite that do allow you to analyze all your data across all marketing platforms and channels. But LinkedIn also has campaign manager and analytics functions. So in other channels, there are Google Analytics for your website. We'll just show you in a few minutes how this has worked for SFL. We're new, we've started this. I mean, I joined the team recently, so this is something that's new for SFL as well, but we're already seeing results in engagement. And just as part of your plan, I'd like to tell you to start with having engagement as the first part, and then looking at getting that engagement to affect your bottom line and your top line in the second phase. So it's very much a stage-by-stage process. Don't give up just because you're not seeing, you know, money coming in the first phase. It's definitely going to come in, but it's a journey. So please keep with it. This is just a quick overview of our analytics. So we started the webinar series as a way of engaging and creating thought leadership within the logistics industry. We thought it's a great way to reach out and, you know, share our insights. We work with about 60 to 70 different companies, and so we've got some understandings of their pain points, and we thought this would be a great chance to share some solutions to that. And if you can see, since we started, we've got already up to 174% increase in post impressions. So we're just going to go to the next slide where I'll show you a brief view of the analytics. So this shows you how your site is performing. And you can see that there's 132 page views, which is 46%. Ikram, if you can just play the video and we can really quickly go through that section. So you can also see how the measurables work. It's very easy to understand. It shows you your new followers, where your followers are from. So you can really, really target your marketing, yeah? And it shows you your performance in relation to your competitors as well. So I hope with that, you've got a few really actionable insights in how you can get your marketing strategy to align with sales and pivot your sales strategy and really make sure you put in marketing. There's a lot of resources online. And if you'd like more information, we're always happy to help with that. The second part of what we thought you can really do to sort of, gain some traction is to extend your digital footprint by standing out in the crowd. Something I do want to caution you about is that a lot of companies are going to rush to digital. Yeah. And so when they do that, how do you stand out? And what is it that you can do to stand out? So the next segment, that's what we're going to talk about. And also a little later on in the segment, we know who is our technical specialist and also our sales chief of sales will be going through that, because we've sort of started creating this synergy between sales and marketing, and we'll show you how we're doing that as well.
Right. And Imra, just to add to what you said on LinkedIn and the effect of SFL, yes, thanks to your efforts, we've seen those impressions. And something I'd like to point out to the senior management teams is, traditionally in sales, you give targets 3 times, 4 times. And as we can see, most often than not, you see saturation at about 5 times CTC. And most of us are happy with the 5 times CTC. But when you can plug in LinkedIn and other social marketing efforts to your thing, you could see that you're freeing up your time of your salespeople to be more productive in not performing some of those first few steps we talked about. If you can still remember some of those points we showed when I was questioning Chris on the thought process and how things are going to be, how relationship sales takes place, replacing some of those time and effort the sales team puts in with a marketing strategy through an office space and through another person or even a salesperson playing that role, you can help the sales process and the salespeople rather than having them fend for themselves. So you create that cohesion, and we've seen that in big multinationals, the target is 8 times, 10 times the CTC, right? Is because they give them this support system through the marketing division. It is not because of anything else. Yes, they would have a consolidation plan to bring in a trade lane development to complement that. But it all starts with, when Imra showed you the marketing funnel and the science behind moving away from the top of the contact to the client, right, to getting them on board. Marketing does that, and marketing has helped that. And from an SFL point of view, those impressions we've seen again have turned to revenue because of branding. We have a challenge of not having physical presence in many international markets, but 90% of our revenue is out of India, where we don't have offices. Yes, now we are putting a footprint in Brazil and Africa and the US region to give that a live support, but that's 2 years after we've pushed this journey forward. So marketing can give you results internationally and locally as well. So I just wanted to add that, Imra, to what you were saying on LinkedIn and some of those results in terms of tangible things.
Yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. Right. Thank you for that. And like you said, so I think SFL has also been through a journey from when you started with your branding to where you are now. And we're still in the process of refining that to create a more cohesive understanding of the brand, which will help. And so, the next step is to think about, in this crowded digital space, how are you going to showcase your solutions, right? Your solutions are mostly non-asset based. A lot of companies don't have asset-based solutions. So what is it you can do within this framework of digital to showcase your non-asset based solutions? And so there's different sort of digital solutions that you can do. And I'm going to just very quickly go through some of that. the first is your logo. We've also done a lot of study on companies, small and medium-sized companies especially. A lot of the logos are a little outdated, and the logo is sort of the first impression that you're going to give anyone. So having a bit of a polish up is a good idea. And this is something SFL did too. On the left, we're going to be really transparent this session with what we've done. So this is the previous SFL logo and the new one. And we're developing that towards a group overview as well now. The next that I'd like to show you is the website. And so we're just going to play the website video. This is what the website was like when SFL started. And as you can see, there's a lot of written text, and it's a little difficult to understand. You have to really spend time looking at it and reading it. And this is the new redeveloped website for the SFL group that we've done. So I also head the digital solution side of SFL. And so this is some of the work we've done. And so this has a more clear understanding of what solutions a company provides. And this is the services section. So we're just organizing it in a way that's very easy, that's video first, you know, that's really can connect to you as a business partner. When you look for solutions and you see the website, you can really see how it will help you, and that's something we're working to do. And so I'd like to point out that the website is a 24/7 sales opportunity for you. It's not just a front, you know, it really needs to move out of being something you have because you need to have it, in terms of like previously, maybe in the past 5 years, everyone has a website, so you need to have a website. No, this is not just a website, it's your store, it's your front, it's where your customers are going to find you, it's where they're going to gain trust for you, and going to see your, you know, seek knowledge and comfort in the fact that you can provide the solutions that they're looking for. And some of the important aspects of a website, because it's a very 24/7 sales opportunity for you, you know, and shipping lines use their websites as selling channels. And that's something I'm trying to work on as well, is to see how we can make logistics websites be sales channels as well. So when you're on the landing page, you already reached to your buyer, and there's a buying journey there which is closed very fast, and they can actually purchase from you. You know, connected logistics has already set up the foundation for this, and it's very possible to link it now to your front sales in your website and action this. Something that I really want to highlight is the quality of content. So, you know, as much as looks are important, when you think about your performance of a website on a Google search or any search engine optimization is very important. And how that can be leveraged better is if your content is strong. So the stronger your content is, the more you can update your website and make it dynamic. So it's always got blogs, and, you know, your knowledge center is really active. It'll increase your ranking in searches, and so you're most likely to come up, because a lot of people spend their time on maximum the first 5 pages of their search. And maybe if you're neurotic a little like me, you'll spend 10, you go through 10 slides. But other than that, you know, the rest of it sort of gets hidden, and you really need to see what you can do. So making sure it's mobile optimized is a great idea. There's another really nifty feature that's being used right now, which is cookie tracking. I know there's a lot of issues in Europe and UK with this, especially for privacy reasons, but all websites now ask you and inform you that they are tracking your use of the website. And what cookie tracking really does, and it's something I recommend you do, is it allows you to make your website so dynamic that if you, for example, say I'm on your website and I'm looking for a solution, and I click on that solution in the next page, when I go back to your landing page or your home page, it's going to display information to me based on the solution I was looking at. And that's really powerful, right? In continuing the customer journey and keeping that experience really niche and targeted and personalized, because personalization is where you can stand out. Another area is also, so Yes, I think I touched on all of this. So make sure you're mobile optimized and SEO friendly, and use cookie tracking. So with branding differentiation, you can do this across a lot of your touch points for your customers. For example, your quotation. So this is just an example of SFL's old quotation. And Ikram, just play the video quickly to show you what the new quotation look like. And we're still refining this, so it's going to be even better. So traditionally,
sorry, just to add to what you're saying, although this is an SFL one, we've also done similar work for logistics companies, freight forwarding companies, where they are changing the way their quotation looks. So their quotation is a document which is very important now, and you need to give your best shot at the start. It's no longer just the final price, it's the presentation, it's the detail of information. So due to non-disclosure agreements, we were not able to share some of those innovative quotation documents, which we've made for customers. We've also made documents for DSR. It's not an Excel sheet anymore going. It's a graphical one which you can create through a digital agency, and you can have a system like CargoWise deliver those documents or those reports to customers pretty effectively. So we've seen a few logistics companies taking that route to differentiate themselves. And again, the ones that are leading that is companies that have a marketing strategy, because it's driven through that direction, right? Creativity is another side of marketing. We've touched a lot about synergizing with sales, but we've left a lot on purpose of the creativity side. But yes, bringing creativity in the mix of sales and pitching for clients, that gives a different impression about the company. So we've seen a few customers taking that route to digitize their documents and redesign a bill of, not even a bill of lading or standard documents, but you have the pre-alerts, you have a covering letter, you have the quotation like we've shown, you've got the DSR, which is in Excel. So whatever is going to clients, which is not attractive, you can make it attractive and differentiate yourselves from the customer, from other competitors.
Yeah, that's right. And campaign management and mobile apps are a great way to do this as well. Vinod, who has been really quiet through this entire session, will now be taking over and showing you how we've done this at SFL, and also how we've synergized a little bit. We're going to keep this very quick also. I know we're running a little behind on time. But yes, Vinod, hi Vinod. Just unmute yourself, please. All right, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today, I am talking about how the various technology solutions which are available to logistics companies, which help them to boost their sales. Everyone knows all the logistics companies provides customer service. However, in a transaction-based business, sales is driven by customer experience. So how do you create a customer experience? There are many aspects, and I would like to focus on the technology solutions available today. Let me share my screen. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes,
can you?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So SFL uses CargoWise for its marketing automation and CRM management. Okay. So there are so much of information available on the client database, and if your current system don't have marketing campaign, you fail to capitalize the value that the data presents.
So to add to what Vinod is saying, all this data is captured by your operations team when they're creating master data or trying to create a shipper, a consignee, an agent. You're always capturing contact details and information during an opening of a job or creating a quotation. So we are trying to just show you here how that information which we capture as an organization, how we are reusing that information rather than having to reinvent the wheel on a different system to do marketing strategies.
Right. So for the campaign SFL marketing automations, we use this campaign management module. For the existing ongoing webinar series, we have used this module. Okay, I will just show you how we have utilized this module. Okay, which the many logistics companies also using for their marketing campaign. So this is the main screen. Okay, I can see the content. We have uploaded our HTML content in this module. Okay. And in the filter, so I have shown you how the earlier our CRM database. So all the contact information in the CRM database, I can pull it here. Okay. So if I want to send the emails or any this subscription, if I want to send this content, I just select this and click send now. In the main screen, you can see total emails, campaign emails, which I have sent, have verified 89 means 28%. So that is your success rate. Okay. There are many logistics companies, they use this campaign management module for surveys. Okay. Like they are getting the quality feedback from their existing agents, customers. If they want to advertise any special rates to their customers, they use this. If they want to send any kind of greetings or any type of rate distribution, all these things, they use the campaign management module. Now, let me talk about these mobile technologies. The first tool which I talked to is on the CRM and the marketing automations. Okay, the second technology which I am talking about is mobile technologies. So Ikram, can you share?
Yes, 1 second.
While Ikram does that, we'll be approaching the question and answer session shortly. So if you have any questions, you can post it on the chat box and feel free to chat with each other as well.
So the another technologies which in demand, okay, in the logistics companies, the mobile app, the use of mobile app able to provide real-time status regardless of the location. It provides tracking dashboards, shipment milestones with exceptions. Can you go to the next screen? Okay. Chats, services, and document download, etc. So this is a screen which will give you a detailed tracking, and the red color, which is an exception. There is some delays or anything, it will show an exception. And what are the balance milestones to be completed, which is showing in the gray color.
And just this sample is a prototype. We have been working as SFL. We are working on custom build applications and a generic product. Right now, the focus has been on custom build applications, but yes, this is what you're seeing on the screen, the mobile app, and this present one, which can also be seen on a desktop, is the generic product, which we are looking at prototyping at the moment and should be releasing to the market shortly. It'll be a white label solution where you can have your colors, your themes, and something which will start alerting you through our campaign manager when the product is ready.
Okay, so shall we go to the next one? Yeah, so this is like a client dashboard. Have you seen like this kind of dashboards any of your customers are demanding? See, SFLs, many of the international agents, they provide these kind of dashboards to their customers. So this is giving an overall snapshot of the shipment statistics. So they use it for their MIS purpose. The customers are not at all depending upon their own internal system, because the customer itself is giving these kind of dashboards to their usage.
So the whole thing which we see coming in this digital journey for a logistics company to be able to explain their value as a non-asset based, how do they give value to the client, is through analytics and visibility of information. So yes, we know this covered the three main tools so far. We have one more which we know we'll run through now, but just wanted to add to that is today, if you are an organization and you want to be different, you want to compete, and now I guess it's no longer different, it's now a necessity to have certain tools like this visible to your clients and ease of use, so that what you are doing is easily understandable to the other party. Over keeping out emails, no more Excel sheets, it's going to graphical representation of data. So these are some of the initiatives we have taken as an organization. And again, drive has come through clients' demands, and any company looking to compete tomorrow in the marketplace needs to have certain tools like this to showcase their clients. And again, a tool for the sales team. It's all, again, mostly designed by a marketing division, because it's again the pitch of, a salesperson will not come and tell you, design it like this or do it that way. But it is our creatives of the marketing department that has to kick in to complement what sales and the clients are asking for and come up with a solution. So again, a very important reason and a function of the marketing team is to support the management in creating at least the creatives and then making it visible to clients. So it's a collaboration between IT department, sales department, and the marketing department that brings an output or a result of something like this in front of your client. If one of the three is not working, or you have only two working, you wouldn't have a tool like this in the market. So where we've seen this happening is where all three are collaborating together internally in the company's office and then releasing a product. Yep.
Can we go to the web tracker? Yes.
Yes. Would you like to log in, Vinod, to the page website? I've got the two screens here, which is the one given by CargoWise for free on the left, and something we've done as a company on the right by just changing the branding. We've done the right-hand side changes to quite a few companies because they wanted to have a low budget product, which is effective. It has many functions. Vinod, would you like to just explain a few of that?
Sure. Can you stop sharing? Yeah. So SFL has customized this portal to match with the customer branding. Okay, so logging to that. So you can see here various menus. The online portal reduces the employee workload and your operational costs by providing your customers with a level of data visibility and the control you determine. Your customers can track the shipments. You can see here.
And this is all drawing from the CargoWise database.
That's right. So you can see here the status is delayed. The reason is the actual time of arrival is not updated. So that is the reason it is showing the status delayed. Also, this portal allows your customers to download. If you share with your customer, if you publish any kind of documents like HBLs, delivery order, arrival notice, any kind of documents, if you want to do that, you can do that. Also, it will give you, if you have, you can give the customer, your customer can give a direct bookings. They can issue purchase orders. They can get the sport codes. So they don't need to approach the salesperson for the code. They can come directly to this website. They can put the origin and destination and what kind of shipment types if they put, and they save it, automatically the quotation is generated. Various reports they can generate it based on all their customers' data. They can see the flight schedules. They can see the sailing schedules, road schedules. Sorry, this won't support in India at present, rail schedules. And all their accounting informations can be downloaded. So it's a very powerful tool. It is not just track and trace. There are various functions, services you can provide to your customer. So I talked about 4 technologies, which is very demand. There is very much demand in the industry, which I explained. That's all from my end.
So Ikram, if you can just go to the last slide that we have prepared, is just to give you an understanding of sort of what this would lead to. We hope that you would have been able to ascertain this through listening to us, but we've also just put it in an easy to understand, just a really quick slide. And we'd really, really like to highlight what's at stake by not implementing these. Right? So one is your reputation as a digital forwarder, and that's going to be very important given that connected logistics is the field of logistics that's growing, and that's sort of where you would like to, where you should position yourself. And you can't position yourself in a digital first world with outdated systems. So your reputation as a digital forwarder. The second being the lowest cost operations. So lower your customer acquisition costs and retention costs. You know, you lose out on those when you don't use technology and marketing solutions to enable this. Also, loss of clients due to reduced customer experience, then loss of market share, and no growth or recovery. So these are some things that are at stake, that we think are at stake, and I think you can agree also. Ikram, any final words, or shall we go to the question and answer? We've got a few questions offline as well that we'll need to touch on.
Yes, I think we've taken a lot of the audience's time today, so I hope the information has been useful. The reason we wanted to be a bit more elaborate in marketing and today's session over the others was because we feel that the marketing is undervalued and underutilized in logistics. Whereas when you look at consumable goods and B2C, like Imra said, white goods, FMCG, it's used heavily and a key component of driving sales in the market. Those customers are also price conscious, but the way those companies have gone about it is through taking a marketing collaboration effort with sales and doing that. And we feel that logistics companies need to follow suit with the current trends taking place for the reasons we've explained over the last 45 minutes or so to you. So yes, so that's my last comment, Imra, on this, and let's take a few questions. Anybody wants to say something, you can also unmute and add in your comments if you felt that we missed something or would like to add to that.
So just to start with the offline questions, this is by Mr. Sailesh. So he asks, what is the cheapest and easiest way to connect to the masses related to the logistics trade? So the main thing you want to look at is not really connecting to the masses. It's about connecting a very targeted solution like we described before. One of the cheapest ways to do this is through social media and making sure that your digital solutions, your website, your digital face sort of is cohesive with what you're trying to sell as well. And then Mr. Murtaza has asked, in the current context, where would you focus your marketing purpose? Above the line, below the line, or through the line? How should the company react? Should it grow more or hold its market share? Every problem creates an opportunity. So what is the kind of opportunities arising by the COVID-19 pandemic? How should companies cash it? And what should they do in the context of current changing situation? Okay, so that's a lot of questions in one. I would say both through the line and below the line, because you need to have many touch points, and going through the line will allow you to directly reach your customers in social marketing, while as below the line allows you to have that little more personalization with email solutions, etc., etc. And yeah, I think the rest will connect with you offline because it's quite detailed. In terms of opportunities arising, definitely digital is one of the big opportunities that are arising, and companies that are going to use this recovery phase to set up their growth pathways are going to benefit. Jeffrey spoke about this in the first session as well, and historical trends support this. So that's one way you can look at the opportunity. And given that, again, connected logistics is going to grow, that's a great opportunity to be in, because there's a lot of need for transparency across the supply chain. And if you can provide that to your customers, then your customer's customer is going to be really happy, and that's going to lead back to you.
There is one more question, Imra, from Vikas.
So when is CargoWise going to start the mobile apps? Vinod, would you like to take that one?
Yes, it's not directly from CargoWise. SFL has developed the mobile app, which can be integrated with CargoWise. So this module is ready. Once you decide the UI, we can deliver it in 1 month period of time.
And on purpose, CargoWise hasn't come up with a mobile app, is because these are differentiation tools, right? You would like to be different to another company, and as you have seen, CargoWise gives you a standard product which is common to the industry. So it's not going to really differentiate you. Yes, you might be able to tell your client that you have something which they can track and trace, but unless you're able to differentiate yourself in that track and trace situation, that experience, which we talked about, customer is looking for customer experience, not customer service as much. And these customizations is why the company WiseTech Global, which has developed CargoWise, has not gone into it, but there are operators like SFL, etc., that are able to provide this differentiation. So quite a few companies have taken that route. They've released it to the market. So it's nothing totally out there which can't be achieved within a short span of time. So it's just about connecting your CargoWise database to this. And if you have good quality data, which is again very important, one thing I'd like to touch here is that you can have the best of tools, you can have the best user interface, the best dashboard, the best mobile app, but if you don't have data entry being done on the system on a timely fashion, going back to the basics, you don't have good quality data, the masters being not duplicated, the milestones being updated. So which are very basic steps which we start with any client. We try and get all that information done properly. The tool is of no use. So you need to focus again on internal improvement of the quality of data, and only then this can give you that impact. So, so again, we know it's expensive to take on something. So cleaning your database, improving your quality of your data can be the steps to be taken, and should be the ones at this moment in case it's not in order. If it is, plug in a device like this, within 30 days, you are able to compete with the best.
The next question is from Zudi. Is the campaign management module available in the standard product, or is it an additional chargeable module in CargoWise One?
Vinod, would you like to take the pricing question?
Yes. Regarding this, okay, if your sales team, one of the salesperson is sales certified professional, the CRM sales and CRM module is free. And in this regard, this campaign management module also part of the sales module. So there is no additional cost.
Yeah, so it is basically free. It's a user license is required to be operating the system. You would be in effect being charged a user fee, but there is no extra fee for the campaign manager or for the CRM. It's free because you can look at utilizing the same login across a couple of personnel.
And I think if there are no further questions, we've really overshot. We'd like to thank everyone again for their time and their patience. I think we need to change the duration expectation for these, right, Ikram?
Right. So tell the audience, thank you again. And Chris, any last comments for the team? I'd like to once again thank you for staying the course with us throughout the webinar. You're participating, but you're on mute. So any last words, takeaways?
Yeah, I think the main takeaway from today for me is the fact that the sales and marketing process is really becoming joined up. It's always confused me over the last few years why companies have a marketing department and a sales department. And there's often, very little connection between the activities of the two. Really, my point of view for a while has been that really the marketing activity should be led by the sales team. You know, it's really important that your salespeople have got are very familiar with the marketing materials and the message that the company is trying to put across. And yeah, so to kind of put both those departments effectively into one department, I think that's an important takeaway.
Right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. All right, thank you, everyone. We'll be having our last session of this series, the Disruption series, week after next. So that's on the 27th, not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after that. And we'll be releasing a report on trends to watch and also sector-wise analysis. So it might be really insightful. And we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for your time and have a good evening or morning.
Thank you.
Or good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.